guys, I have my client Windows 10 open, and I have my server Windows 2016 open. The first command we practice, CLS, to clear the screen. So when I click CLS, it will clear all of these commands, and it will move my prompt. We call it a prompt because it's prompting you for a command. It will move it on the top. If I would like to repeat a command, up arrow, I might go down arrow as well, vice versa. Okay? And we said when we close the command prompt, it will disappear. There will be no history when you open it, so you need to start over again. The next thing here, what we do, ipconfig, to show our configuration. Okay, so it shows IP address. It shows some other thing which you're going to learn in the next course, like default, gateway, subnet mask, and so on and so forth. If we do ipconfig / and question mark, we're going to see any command, not only ipconfig. We're going to see all the options and how to use this command, like this one particularly, which display full configuration information, ipconfig empty space all. And eventually you could even see some useful examples. So if I do again, well, if I repeat the command with up arrow, and instead of question mark, if I put now all, and I'll click enter, I'm going to see much more information, like what is the name of this computer. So here it is. Sorry, a little bit down. What's the name or host name of this computer? It's test. I'm going to see what's the physical or the hardware or the MAC address. Which one is burnt on my network card. Okay, it's supposed to be unique all over the world. We said never supposed to be duplicated. That's the one. As well as I see the IP address. Here it is, the IP address. Sometimes you might see several like this, like I'm seeing now here, but not too many IP addresses. Sometimes you might see, if I open my real machine, if I open the CMD there, okay. If I open the CMD, and if I do ipconfig, so you're gonna see, I'm gonna see a lot of information here. Now, which one is the one which is interesting to me? Now, you look for something which is called default gateway. When you see a default gateway, so you look there to find out your IP address. Okay? So this one, you see it looks something, but there is no default gateway. I'm gonna skip it. This one too, and if I go a little bit down, I might see the default gateway somewhere. Like here. Okay? So that's my IP address at the moment. That's how I know what's my IP address, wherever the default gateway is. Okay? So, in my case, there is no doubt that's my IP address. And we mentioned also if we would like to check the SID of the system, the security ID or the security token, that would be the command. Okay? When I click, it will show it for any user which is there. And as we mentioned, when we do the same on another system, which eventually has been cloned from this one, so if I do ipconfig all here as well, or I repeat the last commands with up arrow. Okay, well, I could do first this one and to see that the tokens are different. Well, these are different operating systems. They haven't been cloned from each other. That's possible. That's important. And if I do ipconfig all, I'm gonna see that my name of the machine is different. Okay, like the name of machine, its source. Like the hardware address is different here. If I go to this one, I'm going to see the hardware address here. It's completely different too. Okay, and I'm going to see also that the IP address is completely different, 10.0.2.10. But they're on the same network. Well, actually, you're going to learn that the subnet mask shows me that they're on the same network, and the default gateway as well. Okay, so basically that's what I could tell right away. Now I know that my prerequisites, the important prerequisites, if I have two machines which I would like to connect within the same network, and if they have different IP addresses, different MAC addresses, different SIDs, obviously, and different names, I could connect them. That's what I know for sure. And that's a prerequisite we could do. And I could ping, if you remember, I could do the ping command from one to each other. So it's ping. I need to ping the other one. When I ping it, and if I have a reply, that means everything is okay. And here as well, if I ping, I will see a reply, which means both of them supposed to be, they might be connected. Additional commands, if you need to see the name of the user who is connected, at the moment is who am I. And it shows you very important information. Actually, it will show the name of the computer as well, if you remember. So CL is here as well. And I do who am I. So as you see, the name of the computer is source, and the person who is logged in at the moment is the administrator. On that side, the name of the computer is test, and the name of the user is send. And I could check the name of the user, the name of the computer with host name as well. The host name command. Here it is as well. Okay. So in the left computer, the ascend is logged in. On the right computer, administrator, because it's a server. And we said if we would like to practice how to use some of the resources or to use the connectivity from one computer to another, we said what we could do. We could open, let's say, we're gonna open the file manager. We could go to C drive, okay? We could create, well, it's not necessary to create anything. I see a file, the 7-zip installation file. If I would like to access it and copy it from my Windows server to this one, the first thing I need to do is to make this folder shareable. So to be shared with the other people, right click on the folder itself, properties. Okay. When we go to the properties, we have the sharing here. Then you click on the advanced sharing button. Then you say share this folder. Okay. Now that's the name how it will be shared actually. And I could say permissions here. So I could say everyone who accessed it, we have a full control on it. So we want to be copied, to cut as well, to move, and so on and so forth. I'll click OK. I'll click OK again. I'll click OK again. And now you see a small icon here with these two funny people are shown, which means it has been shared. And now if I would like to connect it from the other computer, what I need to do is to click here somewhere on the white space on the bar on the top. Then to write down the IP address of the left one. And I need to say that's a network location with 2 backslashes. 110.0.2.15, that's the IP address. And I need to say after this the folder, C. And because it's hidden, and as we mentioned, we're going to speak after this why it's hidden. We do $C to unhidden, to reveal the hidden folder. And I'll click enter. Now, since I have connectivity with this computer, but I don't know the credentials, okay, for this computer to access, I will be prompted to enter the network credentials. Now, in my case, there will be no network credentials. They're supposed to be the credentials of this machine. And actually, the who am I is giving me exactly what I need to put on the who am I command is giving me exactly what I need to put on the username. So the person who accesses this computer, not this one from which I'm accessing, obviously, right? So I need to write down here test \ascend, exactly as I see on the left side. And then I need to put the password for ascend, which it happened to be, I know. If you don't know, well, you cannot access it. You click OK. Let me show to you how, guys, to create a new user. So to create a new user, you're gonna go to this PC, okay? Right click on it and you do manage. Okay? So when you open the computer management console, you're gonna go to the local users and groups where it says here. You do users, and I see the administrator here on the top, right? So click on it. You see it has a small arrow on it, which means it's disabled. But if I would like to be sure that it's really disabled, I just right click on it. I'll do properties. Okay, I see that the account is disabled. I'll check here and I'll say now that the account actually is enabled. Okay, and I will click OK, and the user will be enabled now. Okay, so we'll say on that side again more choices. I'll use a different account, and then I'm gonna do test administrator. Well, I need to change the password actually to the administrator because I haven't changed it yet. So I right click on the administrator, which I just enabled. I'll do set the password, proceed. I'll do it welcome one. I'll put the password here. And as you see now, guys, I'm accessing it. Okay? Things there in your lectures, it's a good idea to see how to create users here. So if I would like to create a separate user, I'll do right click, I'll do new user, okay? And the username I could call, I don't know, mother. Whatever. I could put the first name. Well, the username basically is important, and it's better always to be with small letter. It doesn't matter actually, but it's a good idea to be. And I could repeat here now. That's what I'm going to be shown with. And I need to put a password. I could choose welcome one. I could choose whatever I want. It will accept even not secure password. Now, user must change the password at the next logon. That's a good thing, but for now, I'm going to skip it. I don't want anything to be here. And I'll do create. And when I click close, you see mother has been created. Okay? Now, right-click on this. And if I do properties, whatever I just saw before creating it, that's what I'm seeing again. Now, the interesting thing is when I go to member of. Okay, when I go to member of, and if I click, at the moment it's part of the group of users. So let me close this. We use groups. So this one just beneath the users. We use the groups so to organize all of the users by specific features. The most powerful group is this one of the administrators. This one here. That's the most powerful group. When a user is part of this group, it could do everything. Okay, this guy could do everything. Well, all of these groups, what we see here, they has been pre-installed with our system. None of them has been created by me. So, but if I right click and do new group, I could create ones. Okay, for now, that's not the case. So we just created a user and we need to assign this user to a specific group. Right click, properties, member of. Now, well, that's for ascend. If I go mother, which I just created, right click, properties, member of, you see it's member of users. Users is one of the less powerful groups. So this user here might have none, almost nothing to do, just to go there and to see. Not to install, nothing, okay? I could change this. If I click on the user, and if I click add, okay? And if I click advanced button here, and then go to find now, I will find all of this available, and I could here choose administrators. In my case though, I'm going to choose something else. I'm going to choose the remote desktop users. I'm going to choose this one, remote desktop users. Okay. Once I click twice, it will appear here. I'll click OK. And it's part now from two groups, from users and remote desktop users. And I'll do add here. Well, I'll do OK actually. And we know mother now is part of the remote desktop users. Now, from this server, from our server, from my Microsoft Server 2016, what I could do, I could click on the start button, and I might write down something like remote. I would start writing down remote. And here will appear the remote desktop connection. This is the default way on Microsoft you guys to access from one machine to another remotely. That's another service. Okay. Now, something which I need to be able to, so if I would like to access remotely from this computer, the other one, I need to check into the file manager. There is a prerequisite here. Right click, properties, remote settings. So it's supposed to allow the remote connection for this computer, and this checkbox is supposed to be unchecked. So otherwise, only specific users would be. In my case, most of the users will be able. Well, they're supposed to be part, first of all, when it's work group, so peer-to-peer connection between both computers. How I know this? Very easy. When I click, right-click on this PC properties, and I see here work group, not domain. I know it's a peer-to-peer. So when it's this way, then the user is supposed to be existing on this computer, which will be accessible. So the mother, actually, I'm going to use it to access from this computer, this one. Okay. So what I need to do here is the IP address of the computer, which, if you remember, was 10.0.2.15. Okay. And then I will say connect. Now the same thing will appear here, guys. The same thing. Now what I need to do, I need to write down the name of the computer. Remember, it was test. Yeah. But now I need to write down the name of the user, which has, which is mother. Well, I could use administrator as well. As I mentioned, the administrator has the full rights. Okay. So that includes also to access remotely. Now for the users as mother, who are very limited, if you add the remote desktop users, they will be able to do. That's what I would like to demonstrate. So if I do test mother, and if I do the password of welcome one, if you remember, capital W, if I do OK, now what I'm seeing now is a certificate. When you're accessing something remotely through the network, well, there is a communication which computers say, do you believe, do you trust the person or the entity which is trying to access? Well, because that's me, I'm doing it, I'm trusting. Otherwise, and in the enterprise environment, basically people, what they do, they issue certificates or they buy certificates from authorities which are trustworthy. So there are some authorities you could buy certificates which are trustworthy. If you don't want to buy, there are some authorities which you could take without buying. Okay, and in our case here, we just say, well, yeah, don't ask me again, I believe this. So as soon as you see this and you click yes, now both computers believe to each other. And as you see now, I'm accessing from my computer, from my Windows server, I'm accessing this one. Now, because of the Windows licensing scheme, you don't have, it's not allowed the same user to be twice without paying something to Microsoft, okay? It's not allowed the same user to be on 2 times connected, actually, so that's why I'm gonna be disconnected from this one, okay? I will be logged off, my user will be logged off, and the user mother will actually access this computer, okay? Here it is, and I'm gonna see it on that side. Okay, that's if we pay. There is a specific license. If we paid it, then there will be no problem. You could access it as the same user even, or as different user, and the other user still will be logged in. Okay, but you need to pay for Microsoft for this thing. Here it is. Okay, and if I would like to check who am I, obviously I could use here the CMD. Once again, I'm seeing different picture and different thing because I just access as a different user. Okay, and it's opening, if you remember, any user, every user has its own folder. It's well, at least once when it's logged into the system, into the C users. Okay, when I open this computer, if you go to this PC, C drive, users, well, here's the mother, right? And actually I'm here. I'm in the mother folder. That's all the desktop setups, all the contacts, everything is created here. If I go to the previous user who was logged in as send, okay, well, I'm not going to be able because mother actually don't have enough. You see, it's asking me now for credentials because mother, if you remember, is a simple user and it has only rights to access remotely. That's all. But if I use the administrator now, the password for the administrator, which I know, hopefully, okay, and if I do yes, now I will be able to access the Sense folder now. And actually what I'm going to see all the files and settings and everything what is for Ascend. Remember, for Ascend, the desktop was orange. There were some stuff there. The taskbar was on the top, and there were different things. Because I'm mother at the moment, that's why I'm seeing what the mother sees. Okay, this is what the profile is. Okay, all the settings, all the files, all the specific things refer to a specific user. Okay, so once again, if I would like to check that really I'm mother on the test computer, I'll do CMD, if you remember. And when I do on the CMD, who am I? Here it is. I'm on the test machine and I'm mother. Okay. Okay. The next